Spending 4 hours in a box together every day can make you say crazy things.
Don't go crazy.
I love the smell of mass.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
You feel that? Are you going to get into? Are you going to do any party in this holiday season? Yet a Christmas party to go to? Well, I know there's not a company Christmas party. Well, there may be. I don't know. I didn't get the invite.
No, there's no damn parties.
We don't have parties.
I was invited to 3 parties this Saturday, though.
Oh, really?
But because, like, everything that we had scheduled with the kids has been rained out, and we're supposed to get rain this Saturday, too, so it might get rained out. So we might pivot to a Christmas party, one of the ones that we were invited to. We feel like we have to do something for the kids because everything's been rained out. Vine Street was rained out. What were we going to do the weekend before? I forget what it was. Oh, the parade. The parade downtown was rained out. The parade in Paso Robles was rained out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
People don't have rain jackets and umbrellas around there?
You know how it is.
How about New Year's Eve? Any plans for New Year's Eve yet?
You know, somebody had something cool, and I thought, oh, maybe we could do that. And now I forget what it was. I'm trying to think what it was that they're going to do. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, but that was, I don't know if it's a for sure thing. So I can't mention it.
A lot of times you end up spending New Year's with your kids, though, right?
Yeah, but I think they're doing something out at Top. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think they're doing something out at Top Tracer, which would be really fun.
Okay. Why I don't understand. Is things shut down there for some reason?
No, nothing's shut down.
Why couldn't you say something? Surprise or?
Oh, no, I don't know if they're doing like an official like New Year's thing or if you just go rent
you mean
days.
the folks that run Top Tracer?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a great way to do some New Year's. Something fun and different.
Crush some balls.
I'm going to be spending New Year's with my parents. It's their anniversary. Which sounds more lame, with your kids or your parents?
No, I think with your parents it's fun. I would hope my kids eventually would like to have New Year's with me.
I'm excited to do what we're going to do with my parents because we're going somewhere I've never been before. We're getting a house and we're going to do, you know, the fireworks and the lights and the dinner. And apparently where we're going, they do fireworks at 9:00 for people that are like to go to bed early, and then they'll do them again at midnight for the actual West Coast New Year's. But there was a question I was thinking about. Now, with my parents, I don't think we'll make it. We may make it to midnight. I'm not sure. I can't remember the last time that I made it to midnight. But I was thinking, what if you go to somebody's party? Can you leave early if you're invited and you go to somebody's New Year's Eve party? Or do you have to stay until midnight?
I guess it depends on the person.
And how old do I sound asking this question? I mean, serious.
No, you sound like a guy. No, this is why you don't sound old asking this question, because you sound like a guy who
goes to bed at 9:30 on Saturday nights. Because I go to bed at 9:30 on weeknights.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You just get up too early. So you have to do the East Coast one, and your parents are old. They should be on board with that.
No, I know, but I'm saying if you're invited to a party, though, totally separate conversation, and you want to leave early, like you don't want to stay till midnight, do you have to stay, or is it rude to leave early? And then if you do stay,
I think it's kind of rude, to be honest with you.
Okay, so then if I stay to midnight, can I leave at 12:15? Like, all right, we did it. Happy New Year's, leave. I was reading something that somebody said you should stay for at least an hour. So that means you have to stay till 1 a.m. if you go to a New Year's Eve party. That seems way too long.
No, New Year's, and it's like, okay, good night.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Because, you know, and then what if you're hosting New Year's? At what point can I expect people to leave? Like, I don't want them to stick around. Like, I may have a New Year's Eve party. This is great, but I want you all gone by 1 a.m. I don't want to deal with, you know, unless, I don't know, I've had a lot of coffee that day and I feel like staying up later, but that's kind of, you know, etiquette.
It's over.
New Year's Eve
at 12:05. At 12:05. 12:05. It's over.
It's over. It's a New Year's. Everybody dancing.
Why do you have to be there till midnight? You showed up, you made your appearance, you socialized a little bit.
Yeah, no,
you should be able to leave when you want to leave.
Yeah, you go to a New Year's Eve party. What do you bring? A bottle of wine, some booze. Maybe if it's a dinner, you bring some food.
My question is, what if you don't want to go to a party? Christmas, New Year's, anything, any kind of party, but you get invited and you think it's rude not to go because you've been invited. What is the shortest amount of time that you can be at that party and have it be okay?
Oh, that's a tricky question.
Is it 30 minutes?
No, it's got to be at least an hour. I would say 90 minutes. I would say if you leave before 90 minutes, people are going to be like, because you got to think everybody else is going to get there. What time do you get to a New Year's Eve party, by the way?
90 minutes is so long.
Do you get there at 7? I mean, if you're there 7 to midnight, that is an incredible amount of time. Do you get there at 9 o'clock? Maybe you go to dinner first.
There, yeah. So I think
go to the party after dinner. So
this will be a great question for the feud. How long do you stay at a party? Because I would say
number one answer on the board.
3 hours. I think 3 hours is probably the standard time. 2 hours, like when kids have these birthday parties. My first question is, how long is it going to be?
Well, that's a great answer, or a great question, and the answer should be as long as you want it to be. Now, the thing is, if I was you, your kids are getting old enough now. Can you just drop them off and then go do something and come back?
No, that's rude. I hate it when people do that to us.
You have to be. I have to stay there with my kid. No,
because what happens if something happens to the kid and you're doing a party and you've got to worry about this something that happened to this kid now, and what do you do?
So glad I didn't have kids. This is so much work. When I was a kid, my dad dropped me off at my buddy's house. We were there at my friends' birthday parties. We'd run around. His parents would have to deal with us all day. Sometimes they would take us somewhere. Sometimes we would just stay at the house, and they would pick us up when it's over.
So the parents wouldn't stick around?
No, maybe. Like, whoever was throwing the party, maybe their sister would be there, the mom's sister or somebody.
Yeah, you need all hands on deck.
Or the grandma would be there. But it would
definitely... Because if you have 20 kids at your house and you're the only one watching 20 kids, come on.
There might have been one other parent or two. I don't know, but most of the parents did not stay. They just dropped them off. And I remember being like...
Stop talking right now. I don't want people to think that this is okay behavior.
I think it's fine. I mean, drop them off. I mean, there was like 16, 20 kids at most parties that I went to. But it was a lot. I'll tell you this.
For one pair of parents to watch.
My parents threw me one party. It was at a Farrell's. Remember, Farrell's was the ice cream place. They're all over the place.
But they have people working there.
And I think I was 8 or 9 years old. And so that was it. And then they realized, all right, we're not doing that again. But I think all the parents stayed because obviously they had to bring their kids to the ice cream parlor. And they stayed and we had, blah, blah, blah. And it was a couple hours and it was over. That's a good question. 805-543-3693. I feel like now we're all over the board. First question, how long do you have to stay at a New Year's Eve party? Do you have to stay to midnight? If you leave early, is 2 hours enough? And then if you stay...
is it better to not go at all? Like say I have about 45 minutes budgeted for a party, right? I mean, I could be there for about 45 minutes, and then I got other things I got to do. Is it better to not show up at all? Or to show up for those 45 minutes?
805-543-3693 are the numbers to get through on the 805 beer lines. And I wouldn't want this. And so,
no,
and then
don't.
if you host a party, when should you expect everybody to get the hell out of your house? I think if they could stay up to 30 minutes. It's 30. It's all discretion on the people. But you should be ready to go at 30 minutes past midnight. All right, you've done your midnight toast. You did your midnight dance. You said goodbyes to everybody.
I think we're getting off to a good start. We're going to come back with a Kramer Estate Wines poll question that has to do with this, just to kind of rein it in, because, like you said, we've covered all kinds of things here, and we need to rein it in. We need to get some concrete answers. You need to do your part. Go over to KZOZ.com right now and vote in the Kramer Estate Wines poll question.
Spending 4 hours in a box together every day can make you say crazy things.
Don't go crazy.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Our Kramer Estate Wines poll question. Jeff just threw it up. We're talking about New Year's Eve.
That's me throwing up the poll. What's the shortest amount of time that is okay to be at a party or any kind of party, really? I know it's going to vary from Christmas party to New Year's party to birthday party to 4th of July party, all that stuff. But what is the shortest amount of time before you're considered rude?
Okay, I know you, and you don't like to stick around to very long. So I think to get ahead of it, you let them know ahead of time, like, oh man, I'm excited about your party, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole thing. So I just want you to know that we won't be able to stay the whole thing, but we'll be there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of etiquette that goes to parties. Number one, you don't want to be there early. You ever saw The Office when Michael Scott showed up when they were setting up and then getting dressed? Larry David did this too in this most recent episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He didn't do it on purpose, though. The person that told him the time of the party didn't like him, like most people don't like Larry David, so they sent him there an hour early. And then he's just walking around the house looking at their stuff, and they're upstairs getting ready, but they have cameras in their house and they have a monitor in their bedroom. Like, what is he doing? If you do show up early, do you try to help out, set up? I mean, that's what I would do. I would say, oh, my God, I'm sorry. I can come back or I can help you. And I'd be like, hey, stay and help.
2 different occasions for kids' birthday parties. I've had people show up late to the kid's birthday party. One was a day late.
Okay,
they thought it was on the next day, and then the next one was it was hours later on. Like, I think the birthday party was from 11 to 1. They showed up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're like,
is it over now? Was it still going?
Oh no, it was well over. Because that's what I like about kids' parties is you have a hard out. Okay, at 1 o'clock. It's over, man. No, nobody's sticking around.
Is there a chance the person that showed up at 4 o'clock just didn't really want to go, but then they felt bad? It's like, oh, we'll just act like we didn't know the time.
They had a hectic day, and but in both instances, they'd had hectic days and just totally spaced on it.
Sounds like excuses. But I know.
What is the shortest amount of time that it is okay to be at a party is the question. We have everything ranging from 30 minutes and 30-minute increments all the way up to 180 minutes, which would be 3 hours. 3 hours, I think if you're at a party for 3 hours, you're overstaying your welcome.
I want to say it's 90 minutes. I think that's, if you're there 90 minutes, you're good. You could do an hour, but, it all depends. And also, is the party, what's going on at the party? If it's really busy and there's lots of people at the party, dude, you might be able to get out of there in 45 minutes. Just make that appearance.
But in hindsight, though, if you're hosting a really big party and you find out later on that somebody was at your party, but you didn't even know that they were at your party because they left so early, do you get mad at that person?
No, I'm glad they showed up. But I also would be like, why'd you even come? You didn't have to come. You weren't going to hurt my feelings. I don't care if you come to my party or not.
Because I think about weddings. I know our wedding, there were people that were at our wedding that I didn't even know were at our wedding. They came, they did the thing, they ate the dinner, and then they bounced. I
think a wedding, if you watch the ceremony and you stay for a couple of the dances, you're good. If you stay and eat, you can go after that. I don't know if you need to stay for the cake. I think a lot of people would think you need to stay for the cake, and then you go.
What about people, and we're getting off on more tangents, what about people that just go to the ceremony and they don't go to the reception?
Or what about people that just go to the reception because they don't want to deal with that damn ceremony?
I'd rather just go to the reception than the ceremony.
Yeah, me too. But most weddings are pretty short nowadays, unless you get into the Catholic weddings that are really long.
Mm-hmm.
You were at my wedding. I don't remember because it's all a blur. But I think it was. Were we standing up there 10 minutes? It was foggy.
Yeah,
it was pretty quick.
It was super quick, and that's how it was.
And foggy. It's funny. Do you remember that day, how nice it was? And that whole week was beautiful. And this is what I remember. You probably won't because it was, I was thinking of everybody that came from out of town. And then as we were getting married, the fog was rolling in, which I thought was cool. And it was rolling. We got married at Dolphin Bay and the cliffs there. And it was rolling up and just over the top, almost like waves crashing. It was really wild and weird. And by the time we had dinner, it was like we were in a tent of fog.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked that. I thought it was awesome because the fog was white, so it was a white wedding, right?
Yeah, I guess it
Billy Idol would have been proud. So anyways, get over to Kramer Estate Wine's poll question. over at kzoz.com. Don't forget, they've got Wanted coming next month, the 27th and the 28th. Should I let the cat out of the bag? No. More information on that later on in the show.
Careful. You don't want to learn from this. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
The washing machine tops the new list, Jeff, of the most confusing appliances. The microwave was second, followed by the dishwasher. Oh. Are you kidding me? These are the easiest things to use, especially nowadays. I mean, maybe I'm privileged, and I have I would say the washing machine I used as a kid, there wasn't like a normal, like there is now. Like you just put the clothes in, you close the door, you hit start, and it goes ding, ding, ding. And it says normal wash, or it says, all these other options. But for the most part, you just hit start again, and it starts your load. I mean, it's not that tough.
No,
but back in the day, you had to click, 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 click.
I think back in the day, it was easier because it was a dial, and you just click it up, and you're like, okay, 40 minutes. Now it's like, what are you washing? Are you washing a comforter? Are you washing towels? Are these? Do you need to sanitize this load? There's a process that's a learning curve.
Yours isn't a dial that just says, sanitize normal. Mine says normal wash.
Oh no, there's a dial there, but then it's got all this digital options.
Oh yeah,
on the side.
More, less dry. Do you want the heat? Do you
Back
want more
in the
time,
day,
less
Jeremy,
time?
it was basically like two settings: permanent press and regular. And regular had a timer on it, and permanent press maybe had a sensor to let you know when your clothes were dry.
I understand all that, but for the most part, the new ones today, you just shut the door and hit start, and it starts. If you just don't touch anything and you hit start, it'll just do a normal, regular load.
No, you don't get the tongue lashing from your wife that I get from my wife.
Well, I only do my clothes. I don't do her clothes. I think that's important, by the way. Jeremy's facts for keeping a long marriage and relationship: don't do your wife or fiance's or partner's clothes.
She's like, why do you do the clothes like this? And I'm like, because they needed to get washed. You weren't around. She's like, don't ever touch the washer again because I'll do the wrong setting. Because I come from the school of like, you just turn it on. Okay, this is going to take about 40 minutes to dry, hit 40, and then be done with it.
Well, I know that if you just hit cold or warm cold, you're good. You don't want to do hot because you could shrink and colors could blend.
Do you think sanitize function works?
Well, it just washes it longer, that's all.
Do you think it really sanitizes, though?
I mean,
if I have some nasty ass stuff, like I have a bag of rags in the garage, and that bag of rags, they're used for everything.
Sure.
So they get dirty and grimy. Yeah. And I've been told I can't wash them in the washing machine. I'm like, there's a sanitize feature on it right there. It should take care of everything.
Well, if there's grease and oil on them, I wouldn't put them in there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Does it really sanitize? I mean, if it was really sanitizing.
It's for, like sheets or something like that, I think. Like when you want to. If somebody stay over and you want to, hit sanitize the sheets. And I think it just makes it so the load is in there longer and the water's as hot as it can be.
So this is why I will never trust laundromats, because you know where I'm taking the bag of rags to wash them? Because I'm down. I'm done on the
you have
bag.
to, because your wife won't let you wash them at home. So you
right.
take them to laundromat. Your wife is really the reason why nobody should go to a laundromat. Because there's other wives just like her that will make her husbands take their rag. Why don't you just throw them out?
Those are industrial strength because I need them. I need the rags.
Go buy more. You can buy more. I mean,
I don't.
Freight,
I don't spend. I don't spend money on things I don't need to spend money on. That's the difference between you and I. I care for the environment, Jeremy. That's why I don't throw them out.
Okay,
I care for the environment.
Then here's your solution: you get a 5-gallon bucket.
The environment of my wallet.
You get a 5-gallon bucket. You put some laundry detergent in there. You soak them.
Yeah, I do that.
And then
that's usually to bridge that's usually to bridge the gap of actually getting them really washed. It's like, okay, I gotta reuse these rags. I'm running low on rags right now. They're sitting outside and they're waterlogged from all the rain that we've gotten.
I just think appliances today are so easy to use. I mean, I realize it depends on the appliance you have.
Sometimes
some that are a little bit more money have a little bit more options. I get all that. But for the most part, even those are pretty basic. People said they have a hard time working their new coffee makers.
Not me, because I go old school coffee maker.
So I got to tell you,
I'll tell you this. My wife, the professional laundry doer, the one that knows all the ins and outs of the washing machine,
right,
can't set the damn timer on the coffee pot. She's like, hey, I need you to come because I'll change the time on the weekend versus the weekday because we get up a lot earlier on the weekday.
Don't you have a clock button?
Oh, trust me, Jeremy, it is super easy. I'm like, hey, come here. Cal Poly, learn by doing. Come here.
You say that to her?
Yes, I do. I say, look, we're going to do this just like you learned in school because your school taught you to learn things by doing them.
That's
and
great.
she's like, shut up, and she walks away. But I'm like, it's this button, and you push hour until the hour that you want it to start.
You have to be careful too when you're explaining. I've realized.
Yeah, I know. I realize.
If you talk down to them like they're a child,
I know.
Oh my God.
I realize that Cal Poly learn by doing is probably not the route to go, but Christ, it's setting a coffee pot. It's just I'm pretty sure that if I taught my daughter how to do it, she'd be able to do it. Nice.
Yeah. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning on 93.3 KZOZ.
GM is doing it. They are building their very first hybrid Corvettes. The 2024 Corvette E-Ray matches their V8 engine and can offer up to 605 horsepower. Okay, I am now in. This is what an electric car to me should be. It shouldn't be an SUV. It shouldn't be a pickup.
You do that, and then you got to charge it for 2 hours.
You know, the thing is, these should be sports cars. I know that you've talked about Teslas. Did you drive a Tesla?
No, I haven't. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, no, but I drove the Mustang.
Yes,
which is the same thing.
And you were talking about how fast it would accelerate and how quiet
throw
it
you back,
goes.
throw you back into your seat. Yeah.
So to me, this is what electric cars I would be interested in. And if you could give me a Corvette that'll have 605 horsepower and it's electric, I don't know how far it'll go. They haven't got into any of that yet. I think it's still kind of a concept. But
that's the thing. You do that, you go that fast, and you seriously. So my mom went. She drove home from here in her Tesla. She lived in Seattle. She said she'll never do it again. Ever.
Because she had to stop so many times to charge.
Stop and charge. And she got a ticket.
Yep.
She got a ticket.
She got a ticket
in Yolo County. And
did she tell the officer you only live once?
Yes. And the officer said, if you go a lot further, if you lay off the accelerator on these, you're driving so fast, you're using your electricity up. And she knew that. She just has a lead foot. And she's like, okay, thanks, whatever. But it's the truth. Like if you drive these cars super fast, that it drains the battery. I mean, that's just common sense. It drains the battery a lot quicker, and you're going to have to stop more often to get your charges, which is
Did you ask her how long
maddening.
it would take, like when she would have to pull over and get a charge? Like how long would she have? How long
depended
would it take
on depended on the charge station and how up to speed they were with everything.
I'm imagining the newer ones have like a rapid charge or something.
Yeah, but there's only a few that are rapid charge, and they're taken. She
and you
said,
have to pay for these, right? It's not free. It's like gas. You have to pay for the
With Tesla, you buy the package when you buy the car. So you buy the car from Tesla, then you buy the package. I believe that's how it works. I don't know. Maybe a Tesla owner can help us out on this, but it was built into the price of the car up front, and then now you can charge it at Tesla stations. That's why if you got a Tesla station, you got a captive audience. It's good to have a Tesla station, unless you're the Denny's in Atascadero for some reason. It's good to have a Tesla station in your parking lot because people have to kill time. It's great marketing tool. So let Tesla build your banks and your shopping centers, but yeah, it take an hour to 90 minutes depending on where she was stopping. So then she had to stop, do that, get lunch, whatever. But it took what typically would be, 13 hours driving time if you drove all the way through. If you're driving fast, driving all the way through, it ended up taking 16, 17 hours. She had to split up in two days at that point, because you're not going to drive all the way through if you're driving a Tesla.
Right.
Whereas she's been able to drive all the way through in the past.
Probably
I've
so
done
excited.
it too.
This is probably the biggest drive that she's taken her Tesla on. And now she
Yeah,
realized
and she's not excited about it
this is an
anymore.
around the town kind of car, not a road trip kind of car. Not at
Yep.
this point in time. I'm telling you, when they put solar panels on the roof of those things and they can charge as they go down the road, I'm all in. I mean, if you actually could drive a vehicle, you'd never have to stop unless you had to pee. There you go.
Yeah, but the materials and the effectiveness of it.
Long ways away. Long ways.
Yeah,
But
super long
in the
ways
meantime, they're going to make a Corvette. It'll have 605 horsepower.
Instead of focusing all their energy on things that are necessary, let's make a Corvette.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.